Hello and welcome to ReginaldESQ. I'm Underhook and this is my review of the Russian Tier 6 heavy tank, the KV-85. So is it any good? Yeah, it's a pretty good tank. Now, there's an elephant in the room here, and that is the old KV-1S Tier 6. So I'm going to cover that right now, get it out of the way, and then I'm not going to mention that tank again for the rest of the review. So the old KV-1S, this tank has exactly the same hull and armor. The armor, the turret, the hull, everything's exactly the same armor configuration as it used to be. It still has the 122mm, but the gun's been severely nerfed, so the rate of fire went from 3.75 rounds a minute to 3 rounds a minute, which is a big increase in loading time. The accuracy went from 0.46 to 0.50, but to be honest with you, I can't tell the difference. It seems to have exactly the same accuracy it always used to have, which was always terrible anyway. The aiming time's gone from 3.4 seconds to 3.6. It was awful before, and it's more awful now. The penetration of 175 for the standard AP shells and 390 damage is exactly the same as it always was. In my opinion, the gun still works fine and is not a problem. The gun really isn't an issue. The view range has been extended on this tank by 10 meters. Pretty good. And I'm pretty sure it's got 10 more hit points as well. So what's wrong with it then? Two things. It only has 3 degrees of gun depression. It used to have 8. That is a major nerf. And you really need to use the terrain to aim your gun, to get your gun to point down. Now that wouldn't be a problem in a fast tank. And that's where we come to the second issue. This is a slow tank. When I say slow, it's 34 kilometers an hour, which is about average for a heavy tank. But this used to be, the old KV-1S was a fast tank. Did about 45 or something. It was a fast tank, and if you had the 3 degrees gun depression, well, you could maneuver somewhere where you could change the depression by changing the terrain you're on. But a slow tank like this, it's difficult to do that. I will demonstrate though in one of my gameplays how to do that, how to make this 3 degrees of gun depression work in case you're having trouble with it. But yeah, those are the two things. And probably the biggest one is the speed. That is the biggest nerf to the tank. Alright, so I'm not going to even talk about that old tank anymore. We're only going to review this tank as if the old one never existed. So this tank has 870 hit points, which is on the low side of average for a heavy tank. The lowest is the ARL 44 with 820, the poor French bastards. And the Churchill 7 has 960 points, that's the most. Well, except for the TOG 2, of course, which has 1400, but then that's a bizarre tank. Now, weight-wise, this weighs in at 46.5 to 47 tons, which is average. The heaviest is the M6 American with 58.5 tons, although, well, the heaviest is, of course, the TOG with 81 tons. The lightest is the Churchill 7 at 400 ton. So don't really go ramming any Tier 6 or 7 tanks with this, but you probably can ram Tier 5s and 4s, no problem. Heavy tanks, that is. Traverse speed, track traverse of 30 is the best in class, and it does turn quite well. The next best would be the M6 American at 25, and the worst is the KV-2 and the T-150, the other Russians, with only 18 degrees of track traverse. Truly awful. The turret traverse is also very good at 29 degrees a second, and is only outshone by the Churchill 7 with 31 degrees. Of course, the M6 American also has 29 and is also very good. The worst in class is the KV-2 with just 17 degrees a second, which is god awful. The view range is 340 meters, which, look, isn't good, but it's not the worst. The worst is the ARL 44, the T-150 and the KV-2. They only have 330. The best in class, though, is the German VK with 370 meters of view range. The signal range is the worst in class at 440 meters, and you do rely on other tanks to spot for you at range, since your radio and view range aren't good. However, your gun's not accurate enough to shoot at range anyway, so you really just need to get close to people and blast. The camouflage on this tank is pretty darn good. It's not as good as the Churchill 7, but it's the next best in class. And I have on my crew, all of my crew have camouflage as a skill. Why? Well, because if I'm in a pack of heavy tanks and we get spotted, I'm going to be the last of the heavy tanks spotted, so everyone's going to start shooting at someone else before they shoot at me. Just while we're on skills, my commander also has Sixth Sense. Mentor is currently working on camouflage. My gunner has repairs. Camouflage is working on snapshot. My driver has repairs. Camouflage working on smooth ride. And my loader has repairs. Camouflage working on firefighting. I have vents fitted, as well as a gun rammer and a gun lane drive. The gun lane drive and the vents are really there to speed up the aiming time because it's so important. And of course, the loading time is very important as well. So the vents and the gun rammer both help to speed up the loading time as well. I have small repair kit, large repair kit, and large first aid kit fitted as well. I'm carrying a fair bit of APCR at the moment. I don't really use it, but I am at the moment fighting in Tier 6 Clan Wars, which is a limited edition Clan Wars, and I've got APCR loaded in for that. Now, so my crew are fully trained. Now, let's have a look. I mentioned actually I mentioned the gun depression is 3 degrees, which is terrible. It has 20 degrees of elevation. The next worst in class is the Churchill, which is 4 degrees, which is also terrible. The best in class is the American M6 and the AR-44 and the TOG-2. All have 10 degrees of gun depression, far, far superior. Well, let's have a quick look at the grind for this tank. So the track is a worthwhile upgrade. Takes you up from 28 to 30 degrees of track traverse, which is worthwhile in this tank. The engine you definitely need. The mobility is a big deal in this tank. Even the top radio isn't that great, so don't stress about the radios too much. Now, you need to get the upgraded turret to get the 2 guns that you can be bothered using. You got the 100mm and the 122mm. I'm going to talk about the 122mm first. We kind of already discussed it. It has a rate of fire of 3 rounds per minute, which is a 20-second reload. That's a long time. Basically, you have to pop out from behind cover at close range, go bang, and pop back behind the cover again, and wait 20 seconds to reload. What that means is you don't want to be on your own in a KV-85, because something like a good medium tank will just drive behind the rock you're hiding behind and pump you full of holes and can kill you in the 20 seconds it takes you to reload. You might get 1 shot into it in 40 seconds. You're going to be dead. So you really want to be with a pack of heavies, or at least have a couple of mediums or TDs behind you backing you up, so if that guy comes around the rock to get you, he gets blown away by everyone else. The .5 accuracy is terrible, and do not bother ever shooting this gun at long range or trying to snipe. You will have a really low damage game because most of your shots will completely miss the tank you're shooting at. You need to be medium range, fully aimed, or close range. The aiming time of 3.6 seconds is awful, and there's another reason why you're already close range. If you're close range, like I'm talking about, 10 meters away, you don't have to wait for a fully aim. You just go bang and you've got a chance of hitting. If you're like more than 40, 50 meters away, you better wait for it to completely aim or you will miss. So close range is the ticket with this tank, and then pull back into cover again. The armor on this tank isn't good enough for you to trade shots with other heavies. The armor isn't very good. The turret armor is not too bad, but the hull armor is terrible. Alright, now, the 100mm. So this is, I think, the gun they wanted everyone to use. They want to try and stop everyone using the 122mm, or that's the impression I get. Well, it is a good gun. It has 7.89 rate of fire, which is very good on the gun that does this much damage. It has 170 penetration, which is also very good. Does 250 damage, which is very good. Has 0.38 accuracy, which is quite good for a heavy tank, and has a 2.7 second aiming time, which is pretty bad actually. Now, I reckon if you use this gun, you're crazy. Why? Well, if you're going to use this gun, then get the M6. Don't drive this tank if you're going to use this gun. Here's why. Here's the stats of the M6 90mm. Rate of fire, 7.89. Exactly the same. Penetration, 160. It's only 10 mils less. Damage, 240, which is only 10 less. Accuracy, 0.38. Exactly the same. Aiming time, 2.3. Almost half a second quicker. So, okay. It's got a little bit less pen, a little bit less damage, but it aims quicker, which enables you to get quicker shots off, which is important. But the clincher is the M6 has better frontal armor and has 10 degrees of gun depression. If you're going to use this gun, get the M6. The only reason, in my opinion, you bother getting this tank is because you want to use the 122mm and go bang. And I have to admit, it's still a lot of fun. You can obliterate tier 4 tanks and some tier 5 tanks with one shot. It's fun. And to me, that's the reason you get this tank. You don't get it to use a 100mm gun. So this is going on too long, so I'll cover a little bit more about how to use this tank in the gameplay. Let's now go to Tank Inspector and check out the armor. Alright, KV-85 in Tank Inspector, let's go straight to the colorized view and get into this. The lower plate is 60mm thick and is not particularly well angled and is easily penetrated by pretty much anybody. There's a little bit of stronger armor on the beak of the tank, but it's still not that strong and won't bounce much. The upper plate is awful at 50mm, and once again, even though it's sloped, it's too thin to do much the sloping, and it's still easily penetrated by pretty much any tank in the game. Although when angled, it's not as bad, but it's still pretty terrible. The upper plate is 75mm thick, which is fairly flat and still won't stop anything. The side of the tank is 60mm thick and is quite weak. So basically we have a tank where it has, for a heavy tank, has pretty poor hull armor. Same on the rear, 60mm. The turret is a bit different though. The turret isn't too bad. The sides and the front here are 90mm thick, which is not too bad, and the cupola is also 90mm thick, and you can bounce some shots off lower tiers, and particularly as I move to the outside, as you can see, we're getting ricochet here with this. It's set as 100mm at the moment. So that's pretty good, and this area here, which is rounded, this part of the turret, is 100mm thick. So once again, we're in the sloping areas there. You can see we're getting really good numbers, but as we get closer into the gun here, it drops right off and it's only the 100. So if you shoot just the side of the mantlet, if you can only see the turret in this tank, that would be a good spot to pin, or if you can shoot the center of the cupola, is also a very good place to shoot. The mantlet itself, this pink area, is just the 100mm. It only overlays right at the top and right at the side, but otherwise the center's all open. It's just 100mm. But it's not too bad, the turret, and even the rear of the turret is 90mm. This would be good if you could go hull down in this tank, but with 3 degrees of gun depression, it's really difficult to go hull down in this tank. On the top of the tank we have a section here which is 60mm near the front, and the top of the rest of the tank is 30mm top deck, and the top deck at the front is 40mm. So yeah, not a very well armoured tank, and unfortunately, because the gun depression is so poor, most of the time to get shots you have to fully expose the entire front of your tank, and not just come over the hill, but come over and go down the hill to get a shot. And then you just can't get back because the tank's not fast enough, and you're relying on your armour to stop the shots, and it's not really adequate. Let's get into the gameplay.
Time to roll out.
The map is Hidden Village. We're in our KV-85 Tier 6 Russian heavy tank, and it's a Tier 6 game, which is good. Now, basically we have a tank with very poor gun depression. Now, for this game, by the way, I've got the 100mm gun fitted, so you can see how it performs with this gun. So I didn't say that you can't have good games with this gun. You definitely can. But what I'm saying is, if this is the gun you want to use, then why not use the almost identical gun in the M6 with better aiming time, better frontal armor, and better gun depression. Now, because the gun depression is poor, you have to keep it in mind all the time, in my opinion. So what I'm doing here is I'm just showing you what I do. Some other people probably have better strategies. Have a look around the internet. But I'm looking for land that allows my tank to shoot at other people without needing gun depression. So this is a good spot because I've got the land slopes down, so I can shoot down at those people. If this was flat land, I wouldn't be able to shoot down at them. And when I get up here, the land that I'm shooting at over here is slightly higher than me, so I'm shooting up at it, and I don't need great gun depression. Although that is pretty much my maximum gun depression right there. So now we see there's tanks being spotted down the bottom, so I'll shuffle on down here and see if we can get a shot. Looks like one of our tanks got killed and that guy's disappeared off the map. So yeah, as I kind of mentioned in Tank Spec, the hull armor is quite poor on the KV-85. And now, unfortunately, if a lot of times you're on a gentle slope and you want to shoot at someone, you have to drive right over that slope, away from cover, get the shot, you're completely exposed, trying to get back. It's just really difficult. I'm finding it a real challenge to do well in this tank. It's a different story in things like Strongholds, where you're in a team. It's a different story. Now, this tank does, of course, do much better though in towns where the land is flat and you can pop back behind buildings for cover. It actually can do well with the 122mm. It can do really well in those situations, so long as you've got a tank to provide backup in case someone comes around on you. So we've managed to get one hit for 256 with this 100mm gun, and I'm not having any luck hitting people at the moment. I'm shooting really badly. 0.38 accuracy, and that one had to blind shoot and I missed him by a mile. At this stage I'm getting very, very frustrated. I can't hit anything. Hallelujah! We get a hit in. Now we're going for this Stug. I dropped underneath his tank. Oh dear. I think we hit him then with that blind shot. Another blind shot. I don't know whether that hit or not. I think he probably went past before it went there. And it looks like all of our tanks that were down in that valley are dead. This is not good because I'm in a tank that doesn't have very good view range. Thankfully they're mostly heavies down there. I don't think the Stug has great view range either. So now it looks like though our team has pretty much won this upper area. So it looks like I'm about to get some backup. I've been spotted. My sixth sense has gone off. I'm quite concerned that I'm about to get sniped and picked off. Then I see they're capping and I decide it's pretty even. The numbers are even, but I decide I've got to move in and prevent the cap. I'm in the best spot to do it, so I'm going to charge in and defend cap. This is where I'm really now worried about my gun depression. I can't go up that hill because I would have to get almost to the building before I could shoot anyone. So if I go this way, though, you can see here I do have gun depression. I hit the KV-85, but all I did was track him. The Stug 3 fires at me and actually bounces a shot, hits my tracks, I think. And then we actually managed to hit that KV-85 and finish him off. I've taken a hit though from the VK on my left, but I want to get this guy and stop the cap. He's 44% capped. We hit him but didn't pen, so I'm still not worrying about the tank on my left, but now I decide, oh hell, he's on low health, I've got to get this Stug or I'm a dead duck. Well, there's not much of him showing. Fully aim the gun and miss. Alright, but someone else got him fortunately, so now it's just his feet. Someone else has already reset the cap. Aim for the front wheel, and we finish him off. So even though I tried to do the right thing, jump in and reset cap, it ended up being our T-150 that did all the work. So I charged in, lost most of my health, trying to do the right thing, and paid a big price for it without actually doing much. But hey, maybe I distracted them. Yeah, that's it. I distracted them. It was all because of me that we reset the cap. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm heading back. I'm heading back through the valley because I figure all our tanks got wiped out in the valley, so they might still have a couple of people in the valley that need to be taken care of. They don't have any heavy tanks left. They only have 2 mediums and 3 TDs. So I am, of course, very concerned about getting smashed by the TDs. But I'm not too worried about the mediums. If they fire, they should give away their position, and I should be able to outblast them with this 100mm. I've got enough rate of fire. I should be okay. I might just speed it up here to 2 times. So it turns out we're not encountering anything through here, so oh well. Oops, I stop here. We can see there SU-100 has been spotted, and we get an ammo rack on him for 580 damage. Very, very nice. So that probably makes up for all those misses we had earlier on, where a couple of those misses I think were just bad luck. Alright, well, I see the VK. I was originally going for it, and this is Hellcat, and there is a rock between me and the VK, so I've got time to aim at the Hellcat. Ah, somebody else got him before I could finish aiming, and there's a Matilda. Matilda's only got half health, so one shot will be enough. Now we've got the VK here, so I'm waiting for a reload. There is an AT2, but he can't quite get a shot on me at the moment. There's the VK. He fires at me and bounces. And we get one into him. And oh, someone else... Yep, someone else has just killed the AT2. End of the game. Alright, so not the biggest game you've ever seen, but it was not too bad, and it was a Class 1 badge. And we also managed to get high caliber there. And yeah, we hit and killed quite a few tanks. So we finished on top for XP and on top for damage as well. Yep, good job. We fired 18 shots, 12 of those were direct hits, and of the 12, 11 penetrated. Damage, we did 1945 damage, which is pretty good, and 971 of that was from a long range over 300 meters. We received 7 hits, and 3 of them bounced from medium tanks, so we were quite lucky there. We damaged 6 vehicles, destroying 5 of them, which is a good job. And we did a bit 484 assistance damage, which is kind of nice too. And you can see the income, the ammunition's not too expensive on the 100mm, so the income was not bad, fairly profitable. And 962 XP was enough for a Class 1 badge, so I'm guessing probably, I don't know, 1050, 1100 would be your mastery badge.
Let's go.
Okay, so the map is Pearl River. It's a tier 7 game. There are 6 tier 7s on the enemy team, and we're in our tier 6 KV-85. I apologise if this replay is a little bit jerky. I do not know what's causing it. Anyway, I decided to head straight for the middle because generally a couple of enemy heavies and TDs usually try and break through the centre. And when they get through, they generally kill all the artillery. So someone needs to go this way. We need probably about 3 tanks to come through here. Now, just my luck happens all the time. I'm the only tank that is going to cover the centre, and I'm a tier 6 tank. Typical disaster game. Anyway, you can see now how poor the gun depression is on this tank. That is my gun depression. That's as low as I can get my gun to point coming around that corner. And that is as low as my gun will go right now. So I might get someone in the turret. I have to move forward more to make sure if I see someone, I get them in a hull. There, now I've got gun depression. There we go, and just in time too. KV-13 comes through, we back away. Uh-oh, Panther. He gets a shot on us. I'm weaving. Oh no, now there's an SU-1244. I'm backing up. I'm lucky I get all the tier 7 tanks. Now, why am I the only one here? Great move, guys. Just great. Now, as you can see, I've got no gun depression. If the guy comes around the corner at me, I can't return fire. Even here, I can't shoot anyone. So, this is how you use the terrain. See how the terrain slopes up on the side of this hill? So I've gone to the side of the hill, now I've got gun depression, because I'm physically tipping my tank sideways by using the terrain. I have to keep driving. That's why I just checked in to make sure I was driving into the wall. And that enables us to get that shot. Without doing what I just did, I wouldn't have got that shot. I wouldn't have been able to hit that tank at all. Now I'm running like a crazy man, backing up. He missed me with that shot, so he's still reloading, and I managed to get back around the corner. Whew! I still have no tanks in support. Nobody. All that's back here is an FV-304. That's it. Useless. Although somebody has fired in there from the hill. Someone's firing down there. Okay, so we see that tank. A Jackson. He actually... we get hit by an M10 Panther. Oh my god, he's right there. Well, we've got a shot into that Jackson, but this tier 7 premium tank is tearing us up. And I'm reloading. Okay, I'm trying to keep my front to him and sort of angle a little bit, hoping he'll bounce a shot or two, but he's not bouncing. I managed to get my gun round and shoot him in the ass, and we managed to finish him off, but oh! Yeah. Well, there you go. Anyway. So, left on our own, but we still did pretty well. It was mostly tier 7 tanks we were up against then. So, we managed to get a Class 2 badge out of it, and the team did end up winning miraculously. So, let's have a look at the next screen. Alright, so we finished third for experience and not far behind the top guys, so we did pretty good for a Tier 6 tank in a Tier 7 game. And we did 1360 damage, which put us up there, not far from the top. And it was a very quick game. That was about less than 5 minutes, I think, that we played for. We fired 4 shots, all of them were direct hits. So the gun, the 122mm, still does the good damage. 1360 damage, which is pretty good considering we only have 870 hit points. We received 7 hits, so that Panther carved us up. We spotted 5 vehicles, damaging 4, destroying 1. Certainly doing our bit for the team, and 582 assistance damage. As you can see, good profit in the tank, and 743 XP was a Class 2. The map is Ruinberg on Fire, and it's a skirmish game, and to me, this is what this tank is all about. It's about strongholds, Tier 6 strongholds, and this is where the 122mm really works. Why? Because I've got 6 clan members, teammates, who are going to provide support and backup. Not like the last game you saw where they left me on my own to die while I'm trying to reload. In this game,
Let's go.
we look after each other, and that's where the big guns still work. So you can see we've actually got 4 KV-85s on our team. We have a T-150, a Russian T-34-85 medium, very good, and the T-37, which is making a big appearance at the moment in Tier 6 clan wars. That tank is dominating because it's only against Tier 6s and it's destroying everything in big groups of them. The enemy has a couple of KV-85s, an M6, an Easy 8 Jackson, and 2 ELC AMXs. So obviously these guys like the Tier 5 Scout, even though it's lower on hit points. But here's why you shouldn't bring that tank against KV-85s. 400 hit points just isn't enough. I know it's a good scout tank, but you don't bring an ELC AMX up against KV-85s. You just don't, because they're a one-shot kill. Alright, so as you can see, we're moving together in a group. I don't have gun depression. I'm taking shots and I have to move forward. I couldn't get my gun any lower than that, and I hit the mantlet on the Jackson. So a real failing on the gun depression there, and it is a real issue. Even gentle slopes just cripple the aiming ability of the tank. Alright, so my team is really putting the pressure on these guys. And I see the ELC AMX there, has a shot at me, and I think I can take this guy out. So it's worth stopping. He remains stationary, and once again, do not bring an ELC to a Tier 6 strongholds match because KV-85s can one-shot kill him. Okay, so now the KV-85 is on his own, and you don't want to be on your own. You notice that we are staying together as a group, and the KV-85s work fantastic as a group. See, now I can back off here. I take a shot, I can back off. My other 2 teammates can put pressure on him. We've got the T-150 with a high rate of fire. He's going to have to stop now and look at them. I'm almost reloaded now. I get a free shot. He's gone. And that's where the KV-85 works great, in a group where you can cover each other. Or even, it doesn't have to be a group of KV-85s, of course. It could be any group. But as long as you're staying together as a group, you can cover each other. And while one pulls back to reload, the other one's shooting. When that one then pulls back, the other one pulls out. And yeah, that's how it's done. So now they only have 2 tanks left, and we've only lost 2. We've lost our T-37 and our medium. Mainly because I think they came up here and took the brunt of the attack from the medium and this heavy here. And I think that medium who just died, our commander just killed him, I think. He was their best player, I believe, in this game. So that's why our guys up here got wasted. And then we take out that AV5, and that's the end of the game. Alright, so a good game. It's a 7 versus 7 game. Now, in Strongholds, you don't get the same medals and awards and things you do in a normal game. So there's no medals or anything. There is a Strongholds medal there, but that's for, I forget what it's even for, actually. But yeah, obviously we had a really good game. Let's have a look at the next screen. And okay, well I did 1400 damage with 5 kills, which is not bad. 5 kills out of 7 tanks, and our Commander Grievous managed to finish off the other 2 as well, also having a good game. But with Strongholds, it is a team effort, and it's a thing of you really don't worry about who did the damage or who did whatever. Really what it's a matter of is operating as a team. And so, for example, Rexy, who finished last on here, took a lot of shots that were going to hit me. So by covering my ass when I was reloading, protecting me, he took a fair bit of damage, wasn't actually able to deal much, but kept me alive, and I was able to do the damage. So it really is a team thing in clan wars and in Strongholds. The Fury, or not Fury, but the Easy 8 here, did quite a bit of damage on his team. The KV-85 here got a couple of kills, which is probably why his damage is low. But yeah, ELC AMX is not a good scout to bring, simply because it can be one-shot killed. Next screen. So we fired 6 shots, all 6 of them hit, 5 penetrate, so we did bounce one off the Jackson's mantlet. And that was the only reason we bounced is because I couldn't get my gun any lower to hit his hull. We did 1417 damage, which is pretty good when there's only 7 tanks to shoot at on the battlefield. Hits received 4, penetrations 2, so we did bounce a couple of shots. Damage blocked by armor 630. We spotted 1, damage 5, destroying 5. Yeah. And not bad profit. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching my review of the KV-85. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more reviews, please subscribe to ReginaldESQ. Have fun.